since the riots, I've had many people coming to me and saying, you need to tell them this and you need to tell them that and explain this to them and explain that. And I've kind of become the spokesperson for the poorer people of Britain as such. And now I'm hoping that I can get some of their messages across and draw some attention to the issues that really do matter.
Welcome to the Tory Party conference.
Wonderful.
In Manchester. Welcome to Manchester. Sunny Manchester.
Sunny Manchester.
Yeah.
Now I hear there's a wonderful stall in here which is based around my Person of the Year at the moment.
Who can this be, I wonder?
It
Who
could
can be your
only
person?
be my little Boris.
Did you vote for him?
No, I didn't.
No.
It's so easy when you're in the poorer class to think people on TV in suits and ties are snobs and they have no interest for the poorer class.
Yeah.
They don't care about us or where we're coming from or what we're doing or the fact that we even exist. And now, since my meeting with Boris, I realise he has actually got a personality.
There we have family fortunate and family misfortunate and all the things that can go wrong in people's lives. From domestic violence to...
That, right now, as we would say in the ghetto, that's what's happening. That is the mad circle that all these people are in.
Do you think of yourself as living in a ghetto?
Oh yes. It's poverty. People robbing Peter to pay Paul and literally living by the most minimal means. It's devastating to watch, and every day I get up and I go out there, I'm seeing it.
You are better.
Question.
No. Ian Duncan Smith is making a speech in here now. Let's go and listen and see what he has to say.
Promise made, promise delivered. When we reflect back, the riots were a wake-up call. On street gangs as well. Gang members drifted from dysfunctional, broken backgrounds in search of a place to belong, a perverse kind of family, really. What we need is a plan, a way out for those who choose to take it, and then the toughest enforcement against those who refuse to take it. This is the challenge of our generation. Let us rise to that challenge.
What did you think of what you heard there?
It's got some of it on ball, and some of it's a load of rubbish. Because it wasn't just youths involved, and it really infuriates me when I hear these things said in the main hall about the youths and the cultures and it's that kind of mentality that's causing the problem. Get your ass out your head and let's get this thing right. Don't keep pointing fingers. Let's go and solve it and not point the finger. We know that there's an issue here and it's because of this, so let's go and address it. By turning our backs and talking in big conferences, there's none of those gangs here to defend themselves. No one's bothered to invite them.
Pauline, this is George Young. He used to be my MP in West London.
Hi, Pauline.
He was Michael Heseltine's junior minister when the Toxteth riots took place 20 odd years ago.
The riots this time were not sort of anti-police.
Well,
and they
some
weren't...
of them were, weren't they, Pauline? The business of Mark Duggan, the young man who was shot.
It literally did really start because of Mark Duggan, but it was something that was brewing. It was certain unrest that was there for a while.
I hope we learnt a lot from what went wrong in the 80s and the work we did with Michael Heseltine.
But we obviously didn't, though, did we?
I mean, there's more to be done.
The police, you say you made more policing and such, but this time we've had police cuts. And right at the police cuts, we had a riot. And at the time of the riots, none of our MPs were around. Everyone went off. And then we had chaos.
Have you thought of speaking in the debate?
I would love to if I was given half a chance, but I don't know what I'd say, but it would probably just come out very natural.
I don't think you'd have any trouble, if I may say so, with what to say. Will you excuse me, I meant to be doing,
You've been
as
very
always,
kind.
something else.
And thank you.
Pauline, thank you so much for coming, and good luck, and keep on fighting for your community.
I'm going to try. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thanks, George.
I think he pooped himself a bit, did he?
Is this what you expected of a conference? I mean, they're all sitting there very
Yes,
polite, listening.
it's quite what I expected. But you know my concern in here, I look around and I'm sorry to take it on that level, but there's no black people. They've got no faith in the politics. They've got no faith in the British system. They need to get out there and recruit people, you know, and teach them. And like myself, bring me and a group of coloured folks in or black folks in and say, look, okay, what is it that would encourage you guys to become a part of what we're doing? What do you understand about politics? What don't you understand about? You know, there's so many of us out there that just say, "Oh, I'm not voting because it's a waste of time," and politicians.
Well, you don't vote, so you wouldn't join a political party, would you?
The last 2 sessions, I haven't voted.
Yeah. What made you stop?
Because I saw it was all a load of rubbish, and all what they.
Yeah, but something must have happened.
What they promise is not what they bring forward. And we hear all these wonderful things that sound great, but it never actually manifests.
Who's your MP in Hackney? Which one?
I think it's Meg Miller.
Not Diane Abbott. You're not sure which it is.
Diane is part of it, but
she's the 2 Hackney MPs.
but no one wants to listen to Diane. They've all lost her faith. They call her a coconut, black outside, white inside.
Okay.
You know.
Why's that?
Because they say she's switched to the other side. She's forgotten what her roots are. She made the biggest blunder that everyone in Hackney talks about, saying what wonderful schools we have in Hackney, how no one should be ashamed of sending their children there. And then she goes and sends her child to a private school. And this, the people are very angry about.
It's a long time ago now.
It's a long time ago, but
okay.
I mean, people are still very angry about it.
I don't think there is enough black MPs of the right class, and I don't want to be part of anyone's quota. I don't want to say, we'll let you in because you're black, because then what happens is they treat you as second class. I want to be here because I'm good enough.
Touch me. Are you not keen to get out there and try and get more of us in? I mean, what's it going to take? Because you know what, our black people are very sceptical, and especially because the majority of us are on the border.
She stopped voting too.
So, and I've stopped voting, I won't lie, because I can't see where the progression is, not just for black people, but for poorer people in general. You know, there's nothing that I've heard all these wonderful, fantastic speeches that are receiving standing ovations, and it sounds absolutely beautiful, but I'm not convinced.
How much of this is their responsibility and how much of it is our responsibility? So we have a community, but what are we doing? Are we supporting our young people? Are we teaching about politics? Or are we all sending them to one side of the political fence? Someone once said to me, why are you a Tory? There's no black people there. My response is, wherever there's no black people, it's exactly where black people need to be. Yeah? Because we need to find out what's going on over there. Yeah? There's no black people in banking, we should be in banking. Yeah? Same thing with politics. If you live in a largely black area, right, or non-white area, who represents you? Who represents you?
The white folks.
Well, whose fault is that? You cannot fault a white man for saying, well, let me try to represent this area. If you've got something to say, get involved. So I'll speak in schools and I'll challenge people. I say, you don't have to take on my conservative politics, but you better have a reason to disagree. Don't just disagree because you've heard stuff. Challenge me and let's do it that way.
Yes.
And because what I'm trying to do is build our level of sophistication. Ultimately for me, you know what I'd like to build? I've just been at Conservative Friends of Israel. There's a Conservative Muslim forum, yeah? Why isn't there an Afro-Caribbean forum? That is my goal. If I could get that going, I would do it. I would do it.
That's what we need. Hello, sir. Sorry to bother you. Do you have a few minutes?
Okay, far away.
I just wonder where you intend to start with putting right all what's gone wrong. I mean, there's a real cry for the people. The people are crying out for help, and they're hurting.
Right.
And I feel that we, as I say, in the ghetto, have been really hit the hardest with a lot of the cuts.
In the speech today, I tried to use the phrase that for too long we've ghettoized this in our minds and said, well, as long as it's over there, we don't mind. And it seems to me that what the riots told us was that you can't do that because you're dealing with human beings and they desperately want a better life. And so you can't just say, well, they don't matter. So you need to be able to get more of the people in those communities into work, back to work, because at the end of the day, whatever else we do, unless someone in your family is in work, it's very difficult for you to negotiate anything after that. First of all, if they haven't seen anybody else be in work for a while, the frustrations and difficulties of being in work are enormous. Second thing is, if they have a drugs habit or there's some psychological problem or whatever, if we haven't dealt with that in the first instance, they're just going to crash out of work again pretty quickly. Right. So they're back, and this time, next time, they're not going to try. because they were scarred by that. So,
Yes.
so the work programme's design is to try and get to those who have most difficulty and then resolve some of those problems before finally putting them to work, and then mentor them when they're in work, so they have any problems at all, they can talk to
Because you
somebody.
do, please, think about the poor folk out there, because they're looking for your help. You would get the support if you do the right thing.
Okay, well, I definitely
And we need some black faces in here. I feel like the token spade, I'm being honest. I may never get answers. I might be next week's chip paper wrappings. It doesn't really matter me as long as whatever I have done up until now can do something or change something, and hopefully it will.